Construct a Python script to manage Webex Teams. In this lab, you will use Webex Teams APIs to authenticate, manage people, manage rooms, manage memberships to rooms, and send a message. The required resources: one PC with operating system of your choice with Webex Teams installed, VirtualBox or VMware, DevNet Associate Virtual Machine. Launch the DevNet Associate Virtual Machine. If you have not already completed the lab, install the Virtual Machine Lab environment, do so now. If you have already completed that lab, launch the DevNet Associate Virtual Machine now. Okay, go to VirtualBox. You can verify on settings. Network should be on NAT and cable connected. Okay, then start the virtual machine. Okay, ready. Part of the lab install the virtual machine lab environment is to install the Webex Teams application and add at least one other person to your contacts list. This must be completed before proceeding with this lab. Okay, on the previous video, lab install the virtual machine lab environment. There is an activity to create a Webex Teams account. So you can see the link of that video on the description of the video. Get your Webex Teams access token. You sign up for or log in to your Webex account, explore the API documentation, get your access token, and then test your access token that you will use in your API calls. Log in to Webex, open Chromium web browser, go to Webex developer site, developer.webex.com. Log in if you already have an account. If not, go through the sign up process. Okay, go to the virtual machine, Chromium browser, go to developer.webex.com and log in. Log in if you already have an account or sign up to create an account. Okay, in my case, log in. Okay, very nice. Explore the API documentation, click on documentation, click here, documentation. Webex has many APIs that you can use in your applications. Click the API reference to expand its submenu. Okay, go down here API section and full API reference. Full API reference. Click here. Okay, full API reference. Explore all the varieties of API calls. In this lab, you will use the API documentation for people, rooms, membership, and message. Okay, now you can see expand full API reference. You will see memberships, people, messages, rooms. Get your access token. Still in documentation, scroll to the back to the top if necessary and click Getting Started on the REST API. Go to top and okay, on APIs section, click on Getting Started. Okay, on APIs, click on Getting Started. Click. Your personal access token. Is this? Under Accounts and Authentication, notice that Webex supports a personal access token. An authentication token is required for all REST API calls. Click the copy icon under your personal access token. Okay, on Accounts and Authentication, click here. Also, you can find your personal access token here. Okay. Okay, your personal access token here. Here and here. A personal access token provides access to your account to anyone who knows it. Make sure to keep it secret. You will get a message stating that the token is valid for a set amount of time, which was 12 hours at the time this lab was written. You will need to get a new token and update your Python scripts if you return to this lab after your token expires. Copy your personal access token into a text file for use later in this lab. Copy. Okay. And on menu, all applications and search for Pluma. Okay, edit text files and paste here. Paste. Very good. Okay, this is my token in plain text. Test your access token. You can test your access token within the OpenAPI documentation on the developer side. However, you will use your token in Python scripts. Therefore, you should test that it works in a script as well. Test your access token on the developer side. You can test your access token inside the Open API documentation at developerwebex.com. Return to your browser and click Documentation if necessary. Under API reference, click People and then click Get My Own Details. Okay, on the Chromium browser, go back to full API reference. Here, full API reference. Okay, expand full API reference and go to people here, people, click, and on people click here this method get my own details, or click here get my own details, click here, get my own details, get profile details for the authenticated user. In the Try It panel, notice that your token is already populated. You can click Try It or Run to test your access. You will see the response with your personal information. Okay, here you have the request, the get method, header using JSON, authorization with the personal access token, and run. This is the response. Your personal information like ID, email, display name, nickname, first name, last name, and other information. And click request to see the full URL used to send the GET request. You will use this URL in the next step in your Python script. Okay, click on request here, and this is the URL for the request. Okay, webexapis.com version 1 people me to get my own details. In the middle section, you can review all the documentation for the response properties. Okay, here you can see, for example, the display name, the full name of the person, nickname, the nickname of the person if configured, first name, last name, the email, the ID, and other information. Use a Python script to test your access token. Open Visual Studio Code, then click File, Open Folder, and navigate to DevNet Source, Webex Teams directory. Click OK. Okay, hide Chromium browser, open all applications, Visual Studio Code. This Visual Studio Code. And go to File, open folder. Okay, be careful, open folder. Down here and go to home directory, labs, DevNet source, Webex Teams, Webex Teams, and open. Now you have the Webex Teams directory here with these files. In the Explorer panel, you should now see all the placeholder files you will use in this lab. Click the authentication file. Okay, on Explorer, this is the directory and all files. Click authentication file. Okay, there is only a line, is a comment. Place the following code into the file. Be sure to replace your token here with your personal access token you copied in the previous step. Okay, so add these lines of code. Okay, but I will copy all this to a notepad, a text file, to copy and paste. Okay, all this. Copy a notepad, paste, and save. And choose a name. Okay, save. And I will use Google Drive. Okay, this is the file. Go to DevNet Associate Virtual Machine, Chromium browser, and go to Drive. Okay, this is the file. Right click and download. Okay, close this tab. Go to DevNet Associate directory or home directory and downloads. Okay, this is the file. Double click, and this is. Okay, place the following code into the file on authentication file. And remember, be sure to replace your token here with your personal access token. Okay, copy from import to print, copy Visual Studio Code, second line, paste your token here. This is my token, copy, paste. Okay, the access token. Okay, import request module, import JSON module, the access token, the URL, webexapis.com version 1 people me. The headers for authorization use the token, is this variable, and the response is the get request, including the URL, is this, the headers, these headers, and print in JSON format. And save. Don't forget to save. Save and run the file. You should get the same output you saw in the OpenAPI documentation. Okay, on terminal, in Webex Teams directory, run the authentication file. Okay, you can open a new terminal, and you will see a terminal in Webex Teams directory, and run this authentication file, Python 3 out, then press tab to complete, enter. And you will get the details, the personal information of the user, the ID, the email, display name, nickname, and other information. Very nice. Manage people in Webex Teams. In Webex Teams, people are registered users. Through the API, you can retrieve a list of people. You can create a person, retrieve an individual person's details, update a person, and delete a person. Locate the API documentation for listing details of a registered Webex Teams user. Return to developerwebex.com website. Under API reference, go to people, click the method for list people. Okay, and hide Visual Studio Code, open again the Chromium browser. Okay, here on full API reference, go to people and list people. The first option, click here, list people, click. Okay, list people. List people in your organization. For most users, either the email or display name parameter is required. This is the request, the header with the token, query parameters, an email display name. Okay, enter at least one of these: email, display name, ID, and others, and try to find another account on your organization or friends accounts. Okay, for example, this is another account for me with this email. Okay, and under query parameters, find the email parameter. This is the parameter you will use to find a specific user in your organization. Alternatively, you could use the display name parameter. If you know the exact name, you can use the try it feature. Okay, I'm using email, and run. This is the response: null. The application is not finding this email. This is the request. Webex APIs version 1, people searching this email for another account that I have. Go to response, but the application is not finding that email. Don't worry about this. Later I will add this another account. Okay, and you can place here your own email. Okay, anyway, I will use my own email. Okay, instead of using the another email, I will use my own email and run. And you will list all the information, my own information. Okay, and now use a Python script to list details of a registered Webex Teams user. In Visual Studio Code, click the List People file. Place the following code into the file. Be sure to replace your token here with your personal access token and user example with an actual registered Webex Teams user in your organization. Okay, so copy and paste this to list people. Go to DevNet Associate Virtual Machine, hide Chromium browser, show Visual Studio Code, click on list people. Okay, be careful, list people file, list people, and copy this from import request to print. Okay, copy this on the second line, paste. Very nice. And replace your token. Okay, this is my token. Okay, very nice. The URL for people, headers authorization, the token, content type JSON, parameters, okay, replace username for your email address, okay. Okay, I will use the email address for my another account. This address 42 for my another account. Okay, and the request, the URL, headers, parameters, and the response print on JSON format. Okay, response is this response. Request the URL, headers, parameters, headers, URL. Okay, save. Okay, save and run the script. You should get the same output similar to the following. If you get a message like invalid email address, it means that you did not replace the empty email address with the legitimate email address for a registered Webex Teams user. The value for the ID key will be used in the next API call. Okay, be careful. The token, the email address. Okay, save. And on terminal, here Python 3 list dash p and press tab to complete. List people, enter. Okay, null. Okay, change the email, use my own email, my own account is 62. Save and run again. Python 3 list people, enter. You got this output. The ID, email, display name, nickname, and other information. List additional administrative details for a person. If you are a Webex Teams administrator, you can get additional details for a person by using the value of the person ID key in your API call. Add the following code to your list people script. Replace the previous ID here with the value for ID from the previous API call. Okay, copy and paste these lines. Go to my text file. Copy this from person ID to print. Okay, click, right click, copy. At the end, enter on list people file, enter, and another enter, and add this, paste. Okay, review the code. This is the previous code. And you added these lines and replace this previous ID here. Copy the following my ID. On the previous output, copy this ID. Be careful. Copy this. And paste here. Paste. Okay, very nice. Okay, this is the previous code, the modules, the access token URL headers, parameters, the response, print the response, but now add these lines, the person ID is my own ID, my personal ID, the URL, you will add the person ID to the URL, the headers with token, JSON, and print the response, file, save the file and run. Okay, save. Now Python 3 list people, enter. Okay, so this is the output for the personal information, display name, ID, email, first name, last name. Okay, and down here you will get some details very similar. Okay, this information is very similar to the previous output, but anyway the code is working. As a non-administrator, you will get information that is very similar to the previous step. Okay, don't worry. And now, manage rooms in Webex Teams. Rooms, also called spaces in the user interface, let people send messages and files to collaborate virtually in collective meeting places. In this part, you will list rooms, create rooms, and get a room's details. Locate and investigate the API documentation for rooms. Return to developer Webex.com website under API reference, click rooms. Okay, hide Visual Studio Code, show Chromium browser. Remember on full API reference, expand this and go to rooms. And go to rooms. Click here on rooms. Click. And explore the various API calls you can make with the rooms API. Click the get request for list rooms and explore the query parameters. Okay, these are the options. List rooms, create room, get room details, get room meeting details, update a room, delete a room. Okay, click on list rooms, click here. List rooms. By default, list rooms to which the authenticated user belongs. Use a Python script to list all the rooms for an authenticated user. For this step, you will need to be a member of at least one room. A conversation with one another person is considered a room in Webex Teams. Okay, go to the following site on Chromium browser on DevNet Associate Virtual Machine. I need to create a room. Okay, go to the following site, go to web.webex.com, web.webex.com, enter. And sign in your email address, your personal account, next. Okay, continue, okay, sign in. Okay, and okay, first add your people. Click here in invite teammates, invite a friend or a classmate. Okay, obviously they have an active Webex account. Okay, click here invite teammates and add the email. Okay, I created previously I created an account with this another email 42. Okay, and enter. Okay, and you can send a message like hi, hello, enter. Okay, I sent this message. Also, I can go to Teams and create a team that is a room. Create a team. Name team required. Okay, a simple name. For example, team 365. Team 365. Add people and use the email for the another account, your friend's account or classmate account. Okay, enter. Okay, it's added the name and create. Okay, this is the room or space team 365. Okay, the members here, 2 members. This is the room team 365. Okay, and the members. Okay, very nice. And to verify, you can open another browser to open the another account. I will use another browser like Firefox. Okay, on internet, open Firefox. And I will use the another account to verify. Go to web.webex.com, enter. sign in with another email for my another account that is 42. Continue with 42 signing. The password. Okay, click here on messaging. You have a message for my first account. Okay, hi, hello, and you have a room or a space, team 365. Okay, very good. Okay, in Visual Studio Code, click the list rooms file. Okay, hide the browsers, go to Visual Studio Code, click list rooms file, and place the following codes. Replace your token here. Okay, this, copy and paste this. DevNet associate virtual machine, my text file. Here, from import request to print, okay, for list rooms. Okay, copy. On second line, on list rooms file, paste. Import request module, your token, the token. Replace. Okay, very good. The URL, rooms, header, the token, and JSON. Parameters maximum 100. Print the response. Save. Save and run. Okay, save. List room. Press tab to complete. Python 3 list rooms. Enter. And you will get this information. Now the title of the room is Team 365. Okay, Webex space for Christian. Locate and investigate the API documentation for posting to the Rooms API. Return to developerwebex.com website. Under API reference, click Rooms if necessary. The Rooms API has one post method for create a room. Click the link to see query parameters that are available. In your script, you will use the required title parameter. Okay, go to DevNet Associate Virtual Machine, hide Visual Studio Code, open Chromium, go to the previous tab on rooms, the post method create a room, click here and creates a room. The authenticated user is automatically added as a member of the room and title is required. Okay, this is the request version 1 rooms post method, the token JSON title is required. Very nice. Use a Python script to create a room. Visual Studio Code, open create rooms file. Go to Visual Studio Code and create rooms. Okay, this file create rooms. Be careful and place the following code. Be sure to replace your token. Notice that this is a post request and uses the title parameter. Okay, and my text file. Create rooms, import request to print. Copy. On second line on create rooms paste. Okay, the module request the access token. Okay, place the access token. Copy and paste. Okay, very good. The URL rooms, the headers, the access token, content type JSON, parameter, the title of the room, and the title will be DevNet Associate Training, an exclamation mark. This will be the title of the room. Okay, the method is post, include the URL, the headers, and the parameters. This is the parameter, the title, and response on JSON. Okay, save. Save and run the file. Okay, save and run. Down here on command line, on terminal, Python 3 create dash rooms, press tab to complete, create rooms, enter. Okay, very good. This is the ID for the room, the title, DevNet Associate Training. Very good. You can verify this on your web browser. Go here and dashboard. And go again to Teams. Go to messaging. On messaging, this is the new DevNet Associate Training. Very good. Okay, on messaging DevNet Associate Training. Very nice, it's verified. But don't forget, copy the room ID and save it in a text file for use in the rest of this lab. Okay, and on Visual Studio Code, remember this is the title DevNet Associate Training, but copy this ID. Be careful, all this extension, copy this and save on a text file like this, paste, very nice. Use a Python script to get room details. What if you want to start a meeting in your new room? You can do another get call to retrieve the session initiation protocol, zip address, the meeting URL, and the dial phone numbers. In Visual Studio Code, click the Get Room Details file. Click on Get Room Details file. Get Room Details, very nice. Place the following codes. Replace your token. Replace your room ID with the value you got in the previous step. Okay, copy this and paste my text file. Okay, here on Get Room Details, import request to print. Copy. On second line on Get Room Details file, paste. Okay, very good. And the module request, the access token, replace with this value, my token. Very nice. Room ID. This is another. Paste. Okay, very good. Access token, room ID, the URL, version 1 rooms, the variable, the ID room, and meeting information, headers, the token, JSON, and print the response. File, save and run. You should get a response similar to the following. Okay, the information of the room. Okay, save and Python 3 on the terminal. On the terminal, Python 3 get dash room, press tab to complete. Get room details, enter. Okay, room ID is this, meeting link, this link, zip address is this, session initiation protocol, zip, the meeting number, meeting ID. Very nice. All the information for the room. Manage memberships in Webex Teams. You will use the memberships API to add someone to your room. Locate and investigate the API documentation for memberships. API reference, click memberships. Explore the various API calls you can make with the Memberships API. Click the Get Request for List Memberships and explore the query parameters. Okay, hide Visual Studio Code, show Chromium browser, go to this tab, go to memberships, click here, memberships. Okay, this is the method get to list memberships, but there are another methods like create memberships, get membership details, update memberships, delete a membership, but choose list memberships. Click here on get method list memberships. List memberships. List all room memberships. By default, list memberships for rooms to which the authenticated user belongs. Okay, the request, the token, query parameters, you can use the room ID, person email, maximum, limit the maximum number of memberships. Okay, room ID, person email, maximum. Use a Python script to list the members of the room. Visual Studio Code list memberships file. Okay, Visual Studio Code list memberships file, this file. Okay, and place the following code, replace your token here, and replace your room ID. Okay, and my text file, list memberships from import request to print copy. On second line on list memberships file, paste, import request, the access token. This is my access token. Room ID, the previously created room ID is this. Okay, the URL, memberships, headers, parameters, the room ID. Okay, list memberships of this room ID of this room and print the response. Save and run. You should be the only member unless you have added someone in the Webex Teams application. Okay, save. Hide on 3 list dash mem, press tab to complete list memberships, enter. Look at this. Okay, this user, my name and my email, the only member, only one member, my name and my email. Okay, only one member. Locate and investigate the API documentation for posting to the memberships API. API reference memberships, post method create membership. Click the link, see query parameters that are available. You will use required room ID and person email parameters. Okay, go to Chromium, click on create a membership. Okay, this is to add a new member for the room. Click here on post method create a membership. Add someone to a room by person ID or email address, optionally making them a moderator. Okay, room ID is required, and you can add the person ID or email for that person. Okay, so room ID is required, and you can add the email. Use a Python script to create a membership, adding someone to the room. You will need the email of someone else who is a registered Webex Teams user in your organization. You can use the same email you used previously to list details about a person. Click the Create Membership file on Visual Studio Code. Okay, on DevNet Associate Virtual Machine, Visual Studio Code, click on Create Membership file. Create Membership file. Place the following code into the file, replace your token, replace your room ID, replace new user example with the email of the person you want to add to the room. Okay, copy and paste all this. My text file. Okay, create membership file. From import request to print. Copy on second line on create membership file, paste. Import request, the access token is this. Paste. Room ID. Copy and paste. Okay, be careful, access token, room ID, person email. Remember my another account, 42. Okay, be careful, the email for another classmate or friend that has an active Webex account. Okay, be careful, my another account, the URL, memberships, headers, the parameters, room ID, person email, post method. Okay, save and run. Okay, and don't forget to save and run. Create membership. Python 3 create -mem, press tab to complete. Python 3 create membership, enter. Okay, the email for the new user, for the new member, the name, Very good. And to verify, you can go to list memberships file and run this file, list memberships, Python 3 list memberships, enter. And now you will have two users, the 42 user and the 62 user. Now you have two users, two members. Okay, very nice. And manage messages in Webex Teams. In Webex Teams, a message can contain plain text, markdown, or a file attachment. Each message is displayed on its own line along with a timestamp and sender information. You can use this message API to list, create, and delete messages. In this part, you will send a message to the room you created in this lab. Locate and investigate the API documentation for messages, API reference messages. Explore the various API calls you can make with the Messages API. Go to Chromium browser, go to Messages, down here, Messages, click here. Okay, you have list messages, list direct messages, create a message, edit a message, get message details, delete a message. Click Post Request, create a message, and explore query parameters. Notice for a simple text message, you can use the text or markdown parameter. In this step, you will specify a message with markdown formatting. Search the internet to learn more about markdown. Okay, and click to create a message, the post method for create a message. Click here. Okay, post a plain text or rich text message and optionally a file attachment to a room. Okay, parameters, room ID, parent ID, person ID, person email. You can send a text or markdown, the message in markdown format. The maximum message length is 7,439 bytes, or you can use or attach files, the attachment. Okay, and other parameters. Use a Python script to send a message to a Webex room. Visual Studio Code. Create markdown message file. Visual Studio Code. Click on Create markdown message file. Create markdown message. Place the following code into the file and replace your token. Replace your room ID. Okay, my text file. Okay, create markdown message. From import request line to print, copy. On create markdown message file, paste on second line. Import request, replace the token, my token, as always here. Be careful, copy, paste. the room ID, the previously created room. This is the ID for the room. Copy, paste. Very good. The message is hello DevNet Associates. Hello. You can customize this, but this is a very good message. The URL, messages, headers, the token, JSON, parameters, room ID, and message in Markdown. But what is Markdown? Message. Okay. So on Chromium, you can mark down message. Okay, click here, basic syntax markdown guide. You can use headings. Okay, for example, in HTML, use H1. Okay, for big letters, but in Markdown, use this hashtag. On HTML, H2, but Markdown is 2 hashtags. Or use these equals or dashes. Use always a space. Okay. Okay, for bold, use this asterisk for bold. On HTML, use strong to bold text, but on Markdown, use asterisks, 2 asterisks, or underscore. For italic, on HTML, use EM, but on Markdown, use only 1 asterisk. Very good. You can use Markdown. Okay, Markdown. So DevNet Associates will be bold. Okay, bold. 2 asterisks at beginning and at the end. This is Markdown format. Save. Print the response. And obviously save and run the file. Notice that the Markdown was converted to HTML. Okay, and don't forget to save and run this file. Python 3 create dash mark, tab to complete, create markdown message, enter. Okay, and look at this, strong for DevNet Associates is bold. This is the message, hello DevNet Associates, created room ID. Very nice. Obviously, you can verify on Chromium. Go to my application and look at the message, hello DevNet Associates, in Markdown. Very nice. Also, you can go to Firefox to verify on the another account. Okay, this is the another account, and also he can see the message. Okay, very nice. On the another account. Thank you very much.